Good morning, Turfs Up Radio. Wayne Voles, Profits Unlimited, coming to you live from Louisville, Kentucky.
Yes, indeedy.
Oh my goodness, we got another hot day rolling into Louisville. We got spoiled a little bit last week a little bit. We had a pretty good little run of 4 or 5 days, and then started heating up again, and we've been rocking and rolling ever since with temperatures not crazy, but low 90s. But after all, it is August and it should be hot, right? But hey, we're going to talk a little bit about that and some things that go along with the heat, and also some traditional things that go along with the heat, like snow. And just so y'all don't think I've been in the bourbon today, yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about that as well, and because it is that time of the year as well. But hey, before we get into all that, I want to give my buddy Aaron Walls a big shout out for a great show this morning, and going to talk a little bit about him. And but before we get into all that, it is Monday. Can y'all believe it? Here we go, August 11th. Shout out to my brother John, my oldest brother. His birthday was yesterday, and big 72, I believe, is what it is now. 72, 70. He's 10 years older than I am most of the time. So I believe he's 70, 72. So yeah, happy birthday, John, if you happen to be listening. I know every once in a while you tune in here with us. He lives up in southern Indiana, up in the Scottsburg area. So for his birthday, actually, he may not be listening, probably is not listening, actually, because he is in Vegas as we speak. Saw a few pictures up. He was out at Caesars doing his thing. I tell you what, he got that gene from my mom. My mom used to like to gamble, not a huge amount. I mean, it wasn't like she was crazy with it, but yeah, she liked to gamble, and John got that gene from her. Man, he goes out to Vegas several times a year and enjoys it. So happy birthday, man! Hope you're winning. Never forget one time I was in, I don't know, eighth grade, seventh or eighth grade, and he had been out there and for a little bit, and maybe a little older. Hell, might have been a little older than that. I can't remember, to be honest with you guys. That doesn't matter. But I was younger, and he came back from Vegas, and it's before you had security and all that you had to go through, and you could go out to the airport and walk to somebody's gate to where they were at, and hey, well, good to see you, blah blah blah, and then leave, go home at the airport, and but that crazy fool of my brother, he walks off the airplane, and he's got like $22,000 is what it amounted to that he had won. He got really lucky and hit a nice something or another out there, but he's waving his money. Look at this. Yeah. So yeah, pretty crazy, but he wasn't worried about that. He was at that point in time, John was, I think he had some leave from the Marine Corps, and he wasn't worried about anybody taking his money. I can tell you that. Although, well, I'm not saying, they couldn't, but he was more in the moment of the excitement of, hey, check this out, man, I won $22,000. So, yeah. So, happy birthday, man. I hope you have a repeat performance and even more while you're out there this time around. But yeah, I did want to give John a big shout out on his birthday, and want to also give a big shout out to the girls softball team in Southern Indiana over Floyd's Knobs. They came in second in the girls World Series, Little League World Series yesterday. I watched that. That was an awesome game. They lost 1-0, beaten by none other than Doug Brown's team up in Pennsylvania. So Pennsylvania won it 1-0. It was a great game, but a big shout out to our local girls. You know, second didn't feel real good yesterday and probably doesn't today, but the further along the time goes, man, just the accomplishment of getting there. It's not that you're satisfied not winning it, but be satisfied with the ride, man. That's what you need to be satisfied with. and it's hard to lose a game 1-0. But I don't know. I being very competitive in athletics myself, I would almost rather lose 1-0 than get run ruled out, and that happens occasionally as well. So I do want to give a big shout out to them for doing a great job and getting through that tournament and getting to where they got with it. And it's tough when you can't put a run or two up on the board, but hey, good pitching, good defense to do that. And I know when I used to coach a little bit of youth sports, that's one thing we worked on very diligently, and that was defense. Everybody, as kids, they all want to hit, right? They all want to get the bats out there. Oh, when are we going to hit, coach? When are we going to hit, coach? And my premise was, hey, we're going to learn to play defense, and when we get defense instruction down for the day, then we'll take some batting practice. But you ain't going to need to know how to bat if you can't catch a ball and make it out, because you ain't going to bat very often. And that was before they changed things up the way they do them now. But we're not going to get into that end of it. But certainly on a competitive side of things, it's still very competitive. And it's impressive to watch those girls, at that age, and boys too, for the baseball side of it. But giving the girls a little kudos right now. It's cool to watch them play fundamentally so well for 99% of what they do, you know. So again, big shout out to all the teams that played and made it and went through that tournament. But certainly a huge shout out to the team for Pennsylvania from winning 1-0, and a big shout out to our local team, we'll call it. Like I said, they're just across the river in southern Indiana in Floyd Knob. So shout out to those girls too. So big day, big day. So hope you guys had a good weekend. I know I had a really great weekend. Monday's off to a good start. We'll talk a little bit about that too. But did enjoy my weekend. Friday, kind of took it easy Friday. Just didn't do a whole lot. I actually went to a store here called Whole Foods. Some of y'all might be familiar. That's a national brand, I'm sure. So is it so? Yeah, I went to Whole Foods and we picked up. Tab was making this sandwich that she had gotten in Philadelphia, and some of you guys in that area, Pennsylvania, whatnot, or whatever, you might be familiar with this. It's like the Philly steak and cheese, if you will, only to the aspect that comes from Philadelphia, but because it's pork instead of beef, and there's no onions and green peppers, but it's a shredded pork sandwich with provolone cheese on Italian bread. I think it's French bread. Hell, what kind of bread was it, Dana? Italian or French? One of the two. And you toast it. But the key factor to this was this stuff called broccoli rabe, and it's got a very unique taste. I don't know if you guys have ever had the sandwich or ever had the vegetable. I would assume it's a vegetable, but very strong taste because this broccoli rabe had some oh God, what's that stuff? Not horseradish, but God, I can't think of garlic in it, and you could just barely taste the garlic. So you can imagine how strong that broccoli rabe flavor is. But it was a good sandwich. It was different. It's not something I'd want to eat over and over and over again. But it was good. It was unique. It was I don't know. It might have been past unique. I don't know, but it was one of those things where I kept wanting to eat a little bit more of that broccoli rabe to decide what else it would go good on. Because it's not something like you'd want to sit there and just eat a bunch of it like you would broccoli or something, but regular broccoli. But it was pretty good. So I want to give Tab a shout out on on trying that, making those, and they turned out good. It was definitely a different sandwich to say the least. So we did that. Tab made those yesterday, but Saturday I kind of jumped from Friday to Sunday. But that's because Friday night we went and got that. So that broccoli rabe, that was the only place we could find it. But yeah, Saturday Tabitha and I took a little road trip down to see Aaron Walls and Ashley. They were doing a German festival in Tell City, Indiana, and with his hot dog cart. It was Aaron's breakout weekend with his hot dog cart for both Friday and Saturday, and I was glad he told us about it, and we got to go down there. It was a nice ride to go down there that day, and I took the Mustang out for a little ride, let Lola stretch her legs out, and had a hot dog down there with the whole crew in Tell City. So actually, I had two. I had one with some what I have on it, chili and sauerkraut. That was a unique. What's a good word for that? Unique flavor, maybe. But yeah, the chili and sauerkraut, some spicy mustard, and then I did one with just the hot dog with some mustard, just to get the hot dog flavor. And I'm here to tell you, Aaron's got some good hot dogs he's putting out. So for any of you guys that might be anywhere close to where he goes, and I know he's going to be setting up at some different places, show your support, and also, man, it's a good hot dog. It's a Wagyu hot dog, I think he said. And I will say this, that the hot dog covers the bun. It's not like you're getting a little pencil type hot dog. So really good hot dog, really good sides for it. And I think he's planning on changing, some of that up as well. So, but it was really cool. I saw a picture that he had posted up from his Friday adventure, his first time out of the gate. And as Tab and I were walking through the festival, to find him, I saw his umbrella. And so there you go, branding at its finest. I've noticed his red and yellow umbrella on his golf cart. I keep calling that damn thing a golf cart. On his hot dog cart. And I said, oh, there he is down that way. So we walked down there and sat there and talked to him and Ashley. And I got to meet his dad, Steve. And that was really cool, too. So they had a family adventure out, basically, is what it amounted to. Everybody was out there supporting everybody. And, that's the way it should be, right? I mean, that's just the way it should be. Everybody out there helping everybody and getting that new diversified service kicked off. So, and I did learn a trick of the trade. And I don't know. I shouldn't have said that and then not tell you what it is. But I mean, I don't know. I don't want to. I don't want to throw it out there in case Aaron wants to keep it under his hat. But I did ask him. I said, "Man, where'd you learn that trick?" And he said, "YouTube University." So anyway, it's probably safe to say it. You don't think he'd throw rocks at us? Okay. So, well, Aaron, I'm gonna go ahead and tell him it's not a big deal, but it was pretty cool. And I noticed he was putting some bouillon cubes in his water with his hot dog, and I'm like, man, what are you doing? He said that's a trick of the trade. And you know what? It was so cool because. Honest to God, it kind of turns the water just a little bit brown from the bouillon, right? And the taste of that hot dog, that is certainly a trick of the trade because you can taste it. You always wondered what that taste is in a hot dog cart hot dog. Other than a decent hot dog, that is something that the next time I make hot dogs in a pan at home, I'm going to try it. I really am. And I guess probably if they sat in it and soaked in it longer, you'd get more of the flavor. But I think just pulling that thing out of the water and putting it on a bun, and you got a little water still left on it, you get that flavor of that bouillon, man, and it just made it really, really good. It was like I said, it's a good hot dog though too. It was a he serves wagyu dogs, so we always talk about diversification on here, but he's taken diversification to a different level, to say the least. So, hey, the thing is, we're thinking outside the box, or he's thinking outside the box with his hot dog cart. So, I hope it goes really well for him, and I think he ended up doing really well that night from listening to his show this morning. And I think what he learned from that is he set up maybe a little bit early, but because he got busy after people start drinking at the food and beer. They had a beer, what they call it, beer garden. So he said a little bit later that evening when people start walking his way and looking for some good grub, and they found it there. So big shout out to Aaron and his hot dog cart. So it was nice to see Ashley too. Nice talking to her. She's so nice. I have no idea that she was going to be there, and that was really cool getting to see her too. So she's really a great person, and now I know why Aaron's so nice, because he's got a nice person he hangs out with. So with that being said, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back with more Profit Time here on Turfs Up Radio, your industry, your station. Don't you go anywhere. Well, hope you guys had a good weekend. Let me know what you guys did over the weekend. I gave you my rundown a little bit, and then, like I said, Sunday had a really good time with Katie. Katie invited me over to go swimming a little bit with them. They belong to a what do you call that? Fitness center? Yeah, community center, and they invited me over Sunday to go swimming with them in the morning. So went over there for a little while Sunday morning, and then left there a little before 1. Had to meet Daniel. It was time to get go out and get all fitted up and looking good for Daniel's wedding that's coming up. So me and Daniel and Kyle went and did that, and that was fun. That was fun. Thank goodness we had a Daniel's taking it easy on us a little bit. He's wearing suits, and I had a black suit, so I just ended up pretty good. Daniel got him a new suit, and because he didn't have a black one. So Kyle had a black one, I had a black one. So Kyle and I are matching in our suits, and Daniel's got a little bit more unique look on his. So there we go. So did that Sunday, and that was pretty much my weekend, man. Went home, got home about, I don't even know what time, 3:30, something like that. I don't know. It doesn't matter. And yep, Tab was well underway with crock pot roast cooking, and she had actually been out to a wedding shower for a few hours or a couple hours. So, yep, we reconvened, had our sandwiches, and felt bad. She worked last night. Felt bad. She was sitting there doing some work for a few hours, trying to catch up. But you guys know how that goes, right? Each and every one of us are used to that. You do what you got to do to get her done. So, but hey, hopefully you guys are having a good day, and wanted to talk a little bit about Mike said he had quality time with his kiddos this weekend while his wife finished setting up her classroom. So I guess they're getting ready to go back to school down there in Bowling Green. Ours started Thursday, I think. When I say ours, our public schools, and then I think the rest, like the Catholic schools, they'll be going back to school. The ones that aren't back in school, I think this Tuesday or Wednesday, something. So, yeah, it's that time of the year. Everybody's going back to school. Football, preseason football coming on, and just yay, back at it. Fall will be here before we know it, Daniel. You know it?
Yeah.
Be
3 weeks
we'll be wearing boots and
with the fur.
boots with the fur and hoodies, and everybody be rolling, be doing Christmas light installations and yay, hey. Speaking of which, I'm looking forward. I got an appointment right after my show today. I'm going to see a gentleman about some landscaping and maybe talk a little bit about some lights with him. So we'll see how that goes. I'll keep you guys posted on that adventure. There's always an adventure. And then Katie had a funny call today I want to share with y'all. Actually, call came in over the weekend. She had talked to a lady about just some, just basic mowing type maintenance and whatnot, but she decided she wanted to change it up. It sounds like to a little bi-weekly mowing. So okay, we'll see how that goes. But there is no reason for bi-weekly mowing in our market. I mean, even you can't even really justify it this year. I mean, grass is growing like crazy still. So hopefully y'all are having the same situation in your market with green lawns. As much as we hate to see green lawns in August around here, just from a standpoint of upselling on aeration, overseeding, and that type of thing, but that's going pretty well. We're not going to talk a lot about that today, but that's going pretty well. Hopefully, it's going pretty well for you. What I did want to touch base on a little bit today was great to have Eric Jones back on with us here on Turfs Up Radio. Him and Jennifer, they had been out on a vacation for a little bit. They got married and then took a little family vacation, got their kids all together, and Brady bunched out for a vacation for a while. So they enjoyed their time, it sounded like, on their show today, listening to them. So, Eric, it's great to have y'all back on and today. And then, of course, Daniel with his show. And here we are. We're up to profit time and looking forward to a good week here at Wayne's Lawn Service and Profits Unlimited. So, hope you guys, are doing the same. I do want to talk about something that Craig sent me this morning, and he said it'd be a good thing to talk about a little bit, and I agree. Wanted to talk a little bit about it and get your all's opinion on it. And it has to do with employees and hiring, and we'll go more in depth with it as well within the profit circle, I'm sure. But just because we don't have the time here to go into it that deep. But he said Wayne, he said his latest round of hiring, he said what he came up with, he's doing what he's calling, and I hope you don't mind me sharing this, Craig. I probably you're normally good with what you send me to share, and if ever you're not, just when you send it to me, let me know. Say, hey man, don't share this, and that's cool too. But you always have good things that come up. And he said what he started recently trying to do was, and Daniel, what do you think of this idea? He's doing a 1 day trial period where basically, there's very limited, if any, commitment on either's party, his or the person's. But they come to work, see if they like it, see if they, each part, if he likes them, they like where they're working, whatnot. See how that first day goes, and it certainly could be a process, right? I mean, I'm not saying it's good, bad, or indifferent at this point. Um, Only he knows if it's working, but it's not working real great for him recently, I don't think, because he said he's tried it with 3 guys, and 2 of the 3 texted him like at 9:30 the night before with some excuse on why they're not coming in. And he said both times he told them, no, they couldn't start the following day, the next day or whatever. They needed to show up at the agreed time, and neither one of them did. And so I don't know, Craig. It's interesting. And his ultimate question was, uh, why is the employee pool so bad and these days? And I don't know if it's really these days. And I got thinking about that, Craig, when you said that. And I know it does seem worse whenever it's happening to you. And I know it is different than it was, especially uh, prior. It seemed like COVID just took it over the edge, to say the least. But I don't know what makes a guy accept a job, or when I say guy or girl, either way, just a person. I don't know what makes a person say, yeah, I'll do it and I'll be there tomorrow or next Monday or whatever the agreed start date is. And then think it's good to text you at 9:30 at night, the night before they're supposed to start. I don't know, Craig. I don't know. That's all I'm going to say. I think what I do know in that situation, it goes back to the type of person that they ultimately are, and maybe somehow you come up with a better methodology to pre-qualify that person before you hire them. And it is not a specific issue for you. I know that too. I mean, we've experienced, the same thing. You know, it does. It does go on. It happens. I mean, that just um, Mike Murphy said he had the same issues with labor in the cleaning industry. So yeah, it's not specific to lawn and landscape. I think it's specific more to the type of person that is applying for the job. I think they think, and let me say that again, that came out right, but I think they meaning the person looking at the job, that it's a menial labor type job, and there's very limited, if any, professionalism that's going to be required. What do you think, Daniel? So they don't put a whole lot of, I don't even know what the right word is.
I think it's one of those things that unless you, there are always going to be people out there, regardless of the industry, that care about what they do and all that kind of stuff. So it's not a 100% thing. But I think the less that you have to earn your job in a sense, the less that you care about it because you can just go get another one somewhere else or go in
Yeah,
this other industry. It's not like, oh, well, if I want to be a landscaper, I have to go get these certifications, go to school for this long, learn this, take this test to even get into the industry the way that, and I'm not saying that's even the best way to go about it, but like a lawyer or a doctor or a nurse or even like a personal trainer has to go through if they want to truly legally classify themselves as a whatever, they have to take a test getting that certification.
right.
So like but there's none of that for I want to ride a mower, I want to be a
I
landscape. Now
want
you can get additional credentials in those
to, right.
things, but they're not required in order to, and you don't have this like, oh, well, let me check your resume and make sure you got at least a 3.0 grade point average in high school slash and or college in
Right.
order to work here, or there's no like or qualifications. It's only who can I find that is willing to just to be here.
Yeah.
So I think you have to be good at finding the people that do care and recruiting and whatever, all that kind of stuff as an individual. But as an industry, how do you maybe, or do you at all, is there benefit in, you know, getting any sort of necessary qualifications for people to work in the industry?
Yeah.
And I think that the problem is just what the problem is for all the other, most of the other problems is that it's just so easy to start a business that then there's so much competition that then the prices drop that then you can't afford to pay a mower, a guy that mows lawns, the same that you can a doctor, because there's 7,000 times as many people that mow lawns as there are doctors. So it's the supply and demand of the spot, and it's just there's so many down the line problems that have created this
Yeah.
individual employment problem.
And like I said, it's not specific to this, like you just brought up, Daniel. It's not just lawn and landscape. Mike said they saw it in the cleaning industry.
Yeah.
Hell, I saw it when I was over at Sullivan College, working there. I mean, we had people. Now, it wasn't as bad.
Right.
It wasn't like, well, work a day and quit. We did have some of that happen, but not
Yeah.
generally. But they wouldn't stay, it'd
Yeah.
be,
But you still probably then and there probably had some sort of something required,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah. They had to be able to pass a drug test.
Well,
And,
yeah, but
and yeah, I mean, well, yeah, outside of that, I was going to elaborate a little bit
yeah.
on that. I mean, plus you had to have a little bit of common sense, walking around sense, working knowledge, and also it didn't hurt if, depending on the position they were going into, if it was an accounting thing or
Right. Yeah,
whatever it was.
that's my main thing is like there's a ladder that some people might see there where it's like I want to run this college one day. I'm going to start here. So I know I need to have X degree in order to continue moving, or X GPA or whatever, in order to, because there's probably at least a few more people here that I can look at and say, well, this person beats out this person.
Yeah. By just qualification
Yeah.
of what they've done. And, it goes back to Tulsa King one time. I know it's a movie, right? But he was talking to his driver. I can't even think of the guy's name now. It's been so long since the damn show was on. But he was talking to him, and he said, "Hey, college isn't about necessarily uh, accounting or engineering or whatever. It's more about being able to time manage and structure and be responsible for things in life." And that was a pretty honest to God breakdown of really what that does differentiate for a lot of people. A lot of people, and this is a very structured industry. I say, the landscape industry, certainly the cleaning industry, construction's the same way. There is you need a structured person. You need somebody that can follow rules. And unfortunately, though, this seems to be a challenge and always has been. So to Craig's point, and yeah, Craig, it does seem like it may be bad now for sure, but I don't ever remember it being easy. In my history and looking at it, whether you need one person or 10 people or whatever. But I think a lot of it does go back to how do we go about trying to find uh, the right person for the job. And I think a lot of what's made that even more challenging now, maybe, is, and I really don't even know how to say this because it's going to not sound right, but I think people have become accustomed to being more pampered and can't take constructive criticism. Um, it's whether it's through a training process or after the fact. You know that I mean that's just something to think about. And they all want respect, but nobody wants to give the respect, or very limited amount of that. And I just think each and every company appreciates the fact when you do have some decent people that you can surround yourself with. And I think that's something to think about. Correct. To Craig's point, he said one guy blew him off last Monday and texted him on Thursday, said he was in an accident Monday and he couldn't reach out to him till Thursday. I don't believe that for 1 minute. Do you? I
I mean,
mean,
it's hard to say on individual circumstances, but in general, you could definitely say that people are sometimes they don't, like you said, show their same respect that they want. Meaning, like,
yeah,
yeah, if Craig didn't text this guy and say, like, not this specific guy, but say, oh, don't worry about coming in today. It's XYZ reason, and he showed up, that guy would probably be upset with Craig, but he doesn't think Craig's going to be upset when he doesn't text him for 3 days that he's not coming in.
yeah. It's like I don't know. I think it respects a two-way street, and at the end of the day, I think what we got to do, and this is easier said than done in any business, but trying to find and locate and hire and retain the right people. I mean that it's an easy answer, but getting to the solution is the challenge. And there's things you can do and try, and I don't know. It's just Craig, to your point, man. Uh,
Well, I
keep
think part of that too is recognizing that this is an industry that is just a reality in. And so how do you set your business up to where it's easy for that to take place, meaning like not easy for the in and out, but when it does happen, it's easy for the next person to jump in because you have systems in place and you have, procedures in place to where you don't have to have a year training somebody, set up. It's kind of like the fast food industry. I'm sure it's very similar,
Yeah,
but McDonald's is still around after, 70 years, right? So
right.
what are they doing when they're working with a very, I don't know if this is the right word, but their employment in and out is very high. So, but they still get the burgers and the fries out the window.
Yeah,
So, how do you make it easy as a business owner for when that does happen? It's easier on you, and it's easier on even the long term people that you're with. It doesn't interrupt your schedule a whole lot to have that somewhat in and out that does occur, but at any business and any level. Um, how do you set that up within your business?
yeah. And what do you do to try to minimize it? And and at some point too, maybe you look at a completely different source for talent, if you will. And what I mean by that is, Natalie Mollum, she's been on my show a few different times, and maybe we'll get her back on again this fall because I know fall she said is a really good time to talk about that. But the H-2B program, a lot of people want to talk about it's expensive, but at the end of the day, it may not be as expensive as you think it is when the fact of the matter is you got people that want to work and they'll come to work and they've got an obligation to work. So that may be an option too. And even for smaller companies, I know I learned quite a bit about that from her in the times that I've talked to her, but also on this last trip that I took out west, um, almost everywhere we stopped, and I made it a point to talk to people working there. Almost all of them had H-2B workers, and I'm sure that wasn't the case. I don't know how many years you got to go back for that. I should have asked, you know, but I think that's, I think there's Kyle. Um, I think that's something to think about too, Daniel. I mean, all right, this isn't working. So what's a different solution? At what point do you start looking for a different solution than, you know, trying to do the same thing over and over again, whether it's through an H-2B program or you say, okay, man, we're just going to completely look for different type of, clientele, if you will. We change clientele types. Let's change, on who we're looking for, and what do we have to offer somebody that may be a better talent. Let's see. Fred sent me a text here. Let's see what he's got. He said it's not getting worse. The potential prospects just have more choices than before. the trend of making money while doing way less to nothing is here. I could
Possibly. I mean, maybe there's more people in other services that didn't exist 20 years ago or whatever, Uber and maybe those kind of things, Door Dashes, or I don't know.
I think it's it's a combination of a lot of it and all it's a combination of all of it, you know. Um, but okay, so if we know what the problem is, how do we find a solution? That's just it. So do you continue to do the same thing over and over and over again, but and expect something different to happen, like Albert Einstein says, or are you going to try something different? But maybe it's time to try something different. Not just Craig, but Craig brought it up. But I think maybe it's time to try something different. And maybe it is an H2B program, and or maybe it's something even different than that. But I know Natalie'd be happy to talk to you guys, and see if she could help you with that. Here, I'll give you a number right now. It's 216-312-4700. That's 216-312-4700. And just let her know that you heard her talking on Turfs Up Radio before, and or you heard about her today on Turfs Up Radio. But the reality of it is, that is an option. It's maybe let's look at a different and better solution. Hell, you think it's expensive, but think of the money you spend and somebody either coming to work for a day or a week or a month and then leaving and then trying to find somebody else and the time you waste on that. So,
I
uh,
think another solution is diversification of services and out of out of and into. So not just diversifying and adding more, but cutting out services that just aren't fitting. Like if there's services out there, I mean, spraying is probably the very bottom level of kind of like the first tier of needing some sort of qualification in order to do it. But there's still a lot less than mowing, but there's still a ton of people that spray. But if that's something that you can do that has less competition, that means you can make a little bit more on it. Maybe that means you can also get someone who is willing to put a little bit of time, effort, and
commit.
education into
Yeah.
getting their license, which means they're probably going to be committed at least to doing it and maybe committed to your business. And you can maybe pay them a little bit more, or maybe it's up another level of hardscaping services to where you really have to educate or whatever, like just
You're eliminating a lot of the
a
herd.
lot of the herd and a lot of the competition so that you can attract a better qualified person that may not be in and out of a job every week or month.
Right. That's a really good point, Daniel. That and because a lot of problems in a lot of markets when it comes to finding help is the seasonality of the work. You know, somebody's thinking, well, damn, I'd really like to do this, but I need more than 40 weeks a year of work, or 35 weeks a year or whatever it may be in some of the markets where if you're predominantly a mowing and landscaping company only, then it's going to be a very seasonal job. Whereas to your point, you diversify into other things. I know that's one thing that we did when we diversified many years ago when we added the fertilization and weed control, and um, not only gave a pay incentive for that to go through the training to get your license, but it meant those people got to start work sooner and work longer because of the season. So that's something to think about on, what some of the solution may be. Now, you're still going to have seasonal help. You're still going to have seasonal help. So, or some, but the core, if you will, of people, you can accumulate a good core of people that because of the diversification of your services, you are able to hire somebody better, retain their services year round, and then you're going to attract somebody different than somebody that just wants to have 35 weeks of employment or whatever it may be in your market. So, and you need some of both. That's the other thing, too. I think that's a big misconception sometimes that, well, you can't have all chiefs and no Indians. I mean, you need a blend of both. But regardless of your company size, whether you're a one truck operation or a multi crew company, you know, we need some of both, but we certainly need to find people that are committed that we can put into crew leader, crew manager positions that's going to be able to take some of that burden off. So, with that being said, let's take a short break and we'll be right back with more Profit Time here on Turfs Up Radio, your industry, your station. I wish there was a simple single answer, but I'm not sure that there is a single answer. It's just it's a combination of things. I think we look at it through diversification. We look at it through uh, thinking about a little bit more than just mowing side of it. But there is if there I've always said if there would be an easy answer to the employee side of this industry or any industry really, but if there was an easy answer, man, it would getting the work's the easiest part of the whole thing. I am a firm believer of that. It's just everything that goes along with that can be a challenge. Daniel, that's just my 2 cents worth on it. So,
And that's why you're, as people listening are the business owners out there, and that's
you know,
that's the fun and the glory of being the business owner, right?
yeah,
Is figuring you're a problem solver.
there,
That's what you are as a business owner. Doesn't matter what industry you're in. So,
yeah, it's a good way of putting it. And I mean, that's the reality of it. And just try to remain positive, Craig. It is easy to get a little bit frustrated with it and wonder why somebody has that mindset. But I think the best thing we do is try to take a different look at it and say, hey, what can I specifically do, meaning you, what can you specifically do different to try to attract different talent? And I mean, and don't give up on the concept. Maybe you go back to something that you've done before, but also I sincerely mean it when I say stay open minded to Natalie Mollum and the H2B program and having her help you with that because uh, I've just seen it work a lot for a lot of companies, and I think it might be a good solution, quite honestly, you know. But you got to look at it and get past what you perceive to be the holdback, and sometimes that's the cost of the program. But look at the cost of your current program. How much work you can't take, or you're not taking, or you won't take because you're not sure about the crew, and getting the work done. And so a lot of variables. But hey, we're gonna cut it out for today, and appreciate you guys for all your input. Mike, appreciate your input too, and Craig and Fred. And as always, we do appreciate each and every one of you guys listening to us here on Turfs Up Radio. So, but certainly we'll talk a little bit deeper about it in the Profit Circle, like all of our topics, where we just have more time to get involved with it. But I just, the thing is, and I guess we'll end it with this on employees. But if nothing else, just know that hire slow, fire fast. That would be my best advice. Don't think you're going to be changing somebody, because the reality of it is you're not. It's not going to happen. So, with that being said, looking forward to a great day today. You guys have a great day today. I'll be back on Wednesday, and we're going to get to talk a little bit about crabgrass and customer complaints during the summer. And then we're also going to get on snow. We didn't get to get there today, but it is that time of the year. Um, we're getting those snow requests in. Those RFQs are coming in. So, yeah, it might be 92 degrees or 95 degrees or whatever it is on the temperature gauge outside. But I know you guys are thinking snow, and your customers, more importantly, are thinking snow. And we're going to talk a little bit of snow Wednesday. So you guys have a great day. Appreciate you. Stay tuned to Turfs Up Radio all day long. And remember, profit is not a dirty word. We'll see you Wednesday.